Hello and welcome back to Arsenal Above All, episode 149. How you doing, Neil and Mac? It's been a good summer, hasn't it? How you feeling, Neil?
I feel like it's been a championship summer.
Good stuff. Great to have you on as always. I haven't given you your full title. I won't do that. I'll save that for when the season starts. The long title. There might be another one added to it. But great to have you on, Neil, as always. And I've also got Mac. How you doing, Mac? How you feeling, mate?
Yeah, really good. Had a good summer. Less stressed summer than a less irrational summer than last season. I'll tell you what a painful one that was. But we're champions. We've got the gold, and we're happy.
Yeah. And as Neil says here, champions, a championship stream tonight with two legends. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. First one of the season. It's going to be a preview. Just look forward to what's to come over. Hopefully, another successful 10 months of football. Hopefully, a little bit more enjoyable and less stress on the blood pressure that we all kind of went through last season. Hopefully a bit more relaxed as well. And we kind of kicked things off, didn't we, on Sunday with a nice relaxing beat down or little broing Man City, a petless Man City. I've seen a lot of stuff going around about him, how he kind of breaking down about stuff in dressing rooms and in interviews, talking about how he sees Arsenal being relentless and them getting the message about how we were just going to keep going. And he kind of did foresee what was going to happen, right, with his career and how it kind of fell apart, even though he walked away with two trophies last season. Let's get into Sunday, Neil. Looking ahead to, everyone building it up, a lot of people on TNT were saying about, this is just, this is going to be a chance for Man City to set the statement and show everyone that they're back and everything. And all of a sudden, after 20 minutes, those same people were saying, oh, it's just a pre-season friendly. You can't really take too much into it. Andy McCoist on TNT, for if anybody was wondering, and that commentator who just likes to throw out stats all the time. I forgot. Is it Darren Fletcher? All this guy does, he just throws out stats and stats and stats. He doesn't actually commentate on the game. He just throws out these stats that no one wants to know about it. But anyway, Neil, what was your thoughts on just how we came out in that first half, and your main guy now? I think Martinelli is no longer your main guy anymore. It's probably Calafiori. You say he should play up front, but what's your thoughts on that first half and just the statement it sent to everyone in the league and Europe?
Oh, it was for me mind-blowing in a way, because I didn't think we would start off at that pace. It was electrifying, and it was just fully focused and full of intent, front foot football. 26 seconds, what can you, not much to say apart from the first goal. It's just electrifying. But Calafiori, I think, is one of our best finishers. I have been saying it. I know it might have been said with a bit of levity at the beginning, but I think he's got a great finish on him when he's there in the box, and he seems to know how to get into the right positions as well. It's not just about getting a lucky ball and putting it into the net. He seems to know his movement. I think is quite coordinated, very much like a striker should be. So I don't know, maybe there's a future up front for him, who knows. But I mean, for me, I know we're going to talk about Odegaard, because my God, he blew my mind away as well. I mean, I haven't seen Odegaard play that well for a long time. I mean, he just completely bossed the midfield. I'll tell you what, that game, that play reminded me of. Do you remember when DRB was out of this world against Liverpool? That one match where he literally bossed the whole game. It kind of reminded me back to that game a little bit. And it was just a complete destruction of them in the midfield and actually going forward. And just what he was all about was exactly what we have wanted from him for a long time, that we've been missing. But we have to mention Miles Lewis-Skelly. As good as Calafiori's finish was, I know there was some more build-up just before his interaction, but that movement for me and that pass to California that literally just sliced open their defense was an epitome of how he played that whole game for the time that he was on. And I just don't want this lad to disappear. I know there's been some rumours and links that he might be going elsewhere, but I think that would be very folly of us to do that. We need to do everything we can to keep this lad. I know we were all getting a bit concerned when he was just being, he had a great first season at left back. Then it kind of tailed off, didn't get much minutes. But then when he was experimented in the midfield, as a lot of us had suggested, he's been absolutely wonderful. And I know that we've enhanced the midfield with Guinness, as I call him. But I just feel that this guy's too important. And then the irony is it's pushed Zubamendi down to third or fourth in the pecking order, which is crazy when you think about it. So I'm not sure what Zubamendi's future is. I still think he's a great player. I think if we are to try and assault on all four fronts, we do need to utilise the squad as much as possible. But I think Miles Lewis-Skelly is just a star in the making in that midfield. We have to, if we hold on to him, he could become a legend for me. So I think that him, Lolly, by the way, if you don't know who that is, that's Solis. I call him Lolly because Lolly. Anyway, I'm just mental anyway. I think he's. I mean, look, it's pre-season stuff, so it's difficult to make a complete, how can you say, assessment on him. But what we've seen so far is a very smart and clever player. I think he's very much in the Trossard mould, but he's obviously got a little bit more youth on his side, a little bit more enthusiasm on his side. And I think everything he does is very positive. Yeah. And I think it's very controlled, very smart, very clever. I think he's going to be amongst the goal-making opportunities this season in a big way. I can't see him not starting, by the way, on Friday. I think Martinelli's got his work cut out if he's going to stay at the club, because this guy is something else, in my opinion. So there's been some great performances in that match, but we just absolutely blew them away in the first half. They didn't even. It was almost like I didn't even recognise City. We were playing that good, and I'm not going to hear of they've got a new manager and they got this and they got that, because if it was the other way around, we wouldn't be given that comfort. We wouldn't. Yeah. We would just be, look at them. No, they've been shown up. Oh, they're the champions, but they've been shown up really for what they are. Oh, they're going to fail this season. No. City are still a good team, and we just made them look stupid. So there we go.
No, spot on. And James, thank you for jumping on the chat and having us on in the background. Appreciate it, mate. And he's got the Celtic game on. Got us on in the background. Appreciate that. Also, Brenny's in the chat as well. How you doing, Brenny? James is saying California is a ruthless is zero in Gamora, is it? He is unbelievable. And we've also got someone who doesn't support Arsenal but seems to be spending their time infiltrating an Arsenal podcast. I mean, how sad must you be to do that?
Chelsea, aren't they?
To have time to do, spend time and jump in a chat and put stuff like that in. Get a life, mate. Mac, what's your thoughts on that first half, and just your, obviously, how as Neil touched on, the performances from Solis as well, producing 2 assists, 2 outstanding assists, but obviously the performances from Miles, obviously, who's been in the spotlight, Odegaard, who's been in the spotlight, so to speak, obviously with how he had a really poor. It's probably his worst season, and he ends up winning the trophy. Lifting the trophy after all of it. But what was your thoughts on what the message, from that performance in the first half and just overall?
So I think first of all, let's quickly go through those guys. So I echo everything Neil said, really. So first of all, whoever that Jody guy is, we're the champions. So get back in your box, whoever you are. So that's the first thing. But anyway, getting back to the champions, talking about the champions, Odegaard, I think we saw the first of all at the West Ham game. We see him back to his best. We saw him the way he was playing for Norway. No one could take the ball off him. So I just think that there's a build up to this. I mean, he was injured all last season, on and off, and all the rest of it. We've seen him put back on his weight. Remember, we talked about it, throughout the season about he looked really gaunt. But but he seems to have put back the weight. He seems to have done a bit more weight training. He seems to have got back his belief. We know he had some issues, family issues. They obviously seem to be resolved. And I think for him, honestly, this is what I think, and I think this is to go throughout the whole team. And it's been talked about, well documented, that once the Premier League monkey was off their back, then their belief and the swagger has come completely back. And I think we're seeing the Odegaard of 3 years ago. You know, the direct player, the guy who believes, the guy who actually will take a shot. You know, how many times have we said, shoot Odegaard, and he never does. He passes it off. All this sideways nonsense he was doing. The directness of the guy willing to take the ball and take on people is back. And I think that's mainly because we won the Premier League. I think he, as all of them did, especially towards the end, until Marcelo Skelly came in, by the way, and rode on his horse and saved us when we were looking like we were not going to make it. I think really the pressure was on all of them. I mean, we were talked about. We were the fans, and we were irrational. We couldn't believe that we were getting draws when we should be winning against Bulls and all the rest of it. So I think, you know, realistically, I think now that he's a champion, now that he's the captain of a champion winning side, you just see that belief in the way he plays. So it's much more direct now, much more willing to get the ball, much more willing to take a shot. So amazing. And I just love the way he nutmegged 116 million Elliot Anderson. Beautiful. Straight to his legs. The guy didn't know where the ball was. It was brilliant. So I just think, I just think the weight's off him now and the belief's there. So amazing player. Good to see him back to his old ways. Hopefully he stays that way. But I mean, he seems to have that connection with people now again, which is beautiful. So let's see what happens with him. MLS, I've just talked about him. He was our knight in shining armor at the end of last season, and he's continued. And this is a guy, I don't care what anybody says, all this paper talk, whatever. I know that the chief exec said yesterday, whatever day, that they're looking to, if the right thing comes up for the player, they'll sell them. But I just don't think it'll happen. I'm hearing that Ethan, they're not going to let him be sold. They want to put him on loan. So because they don't want to lose him. So why would they let a guy who backed himself, like he said, was on the left back, backed himself? I don't care what anybody says. He's the one who said to Arteta, look, put me in the midfield, give me a go. You've lost Zubimendi's falling apart and all the rest of it. Give me a go. And he obviously proved that he backed himself throughout all of those people, the senior players, and he proved to help us to get through it all. So I think MLS is going nowhere. I know there's loads of players in the team. Absolute star, 9 shine armor. Without him, I don't think we'd have won the Premier League. And that's a fact. What he did was Zubimendi's legs were gone. Played every single game, his legs were gone. He couldn't even kick a ball straight anymore. And this guy comes in, direct stuff. And I mean, for what he did for the goal, I mean, come on, incredible. The ball comes to him. He fakes 2 players straight through, I forget their names, and then he basically passes it that direct when he's under pressure, someone grabbing him, and he just literally puts it perfectly through for obviously Calafiore to do the job. I mean, that's a guy who knows exactly what he's doing and how he wants it done. So MLS has to stay. It's a fact. And I know there's lots of talk, but I don't think he's going anywhere. And as you said about Solis, I mean, Solis, I mean, he is an upgrade on Trossard. Look, Solis is amazing. They've talked so much about him. They've bigged him up. And he is the assist king, without a shadow of a doubt. They did in the Greek league, and he's just the assist king. And he's going to keep on doing that. We've seen that. And I think that, and we'll get onto it, I suppose, is the goals. But as far as assists, he's going to be amazing for us. He's going to make sure that the ball comes in on the left-hand side, which we haven't seen for a long time. Trossard obviously started to shout towards the end, but overall, I think he's just exactly what we need on the left side. Yeah, exactly what we need. That directness, that belief to take a bit, because that's really what we've been missing for so long. That's why we were over-reliant on set pieces. People ready to take people on. Marcelo Skelly's prepared to do that. Odegaard's back to doing that, and Solis is prepared to do that. I mean, now we just see Saka do with some kind of end product. But apart from that, we need in those areas.
Do you know, just quickly, Michael, before you carry on, the other thing I noticed about Lolly is he really feels like he's enjoying himself. He really looks happy. He's so content. It's almost like when I remember when Rice first joined, how he was like almost amazed to be at the club. And I think it's a little bit like that with Lolly as well. He's so happy and so he's almost like in dreamland, and it's like, wow, at the Arsenal, and he's enjoying every minute. And that really helps with your football if you're enjoying it as well. So I think that's a massive, massive plus for him. I think he's going to be an unsung hero this season. I think he's going to have a lot to do with 100%.
He'll be winning some man of the matches, definitely. I mean, he's just, I mean, and he's not someone you can see who's like selfish with the ball either. He just wants to do his best for the team, and we know he's an Arsenal fan, obviously. But he just everything he does is for the team. You just feel that, as opposed to just I have to score, I have to do this, I have to do that. And he's always looking up, looking to where he can pass it. But brilliant player, brilliant, great sense of balance as well.
Yeah, I just think that the way that we played, we played very much on the front foot. The ball was being moved really, really quickly. Really, a lot of vertical passes, and I think, obviously we haven't discussed him yet, really, but I think Bruno, I think he'll unlock a lot of our play. I think a lot of our players, the likes of, if he was back in the side, Martinelli. You look at the goal that he scored against Japan in the World Cup, and it was Guimaraes who played that pass, that slipped that little pass to him. A nice, cute little pass to him. And if you look at all the comps of Bruno Guimaraes, he plays a lot of those passes in the final third. A lot of those like daggers, a little bit like what Miles did. Those sort of passes, and when you've got the likes of obviously Calafiori coming out of nowhere, and then you've got the likes of Solis, maybe Saka, whoever the left winger is going to be, if we do get somebody in, that opens up a different sort of way of playing for us and for teams to defend against us. All of a sudden, even if they do have a low block, because I still think we're going to have those games where you're going to have teams sitting back and making it really difficult for us. You look at Coventry. Lampard's coming out saying he wants the players to be brave and saying all the stuff like they're going to come out swinging. They're going to come out and try and make it a game of football. They're not. We know what's going to happen. We're going to have to dominate the ball for 5 minutes, and then it's going to be all about surviving and not being embarrassed. And they're just going to camp. That's what they're going to do. So we're still going to have that situation. But I think someone like Bruno Guimaraes will be someone that will unlock that. We all thought it might have been someone like Eze was the one that would do it on a consistent basis. But I think it's going to be Guimaraes to do it, because he's like a Swiss Army. Like, he can do anything in that midfield, can't he? He can destroy. He can create. He can switch play. He can intercept and everything. So he's like a Rice, but he's like even more of a better in the final third, in terms of picking out those passes. We've seen Rice a number of times get into that final third and not play that pass, and maybe be safe and just play it out wide, whereas Guimaraes won't do that. So it's going to be really interesting. I think Solis is going to be great, but I think the man that's going to really sort of unlock the door for us is going to be Bruno Guimaraes. He's going to be the one that's just going to, it's a statement signing. Everyone was looking at Vinny. But it's a statement signing. He's one of the top performers in the Premier League for the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And what does he do? Does he go with Rice sometimes? Does he go with Miles sometimes? Does it go with, he's got so many options to choose from. And I think the fact that we've got this new fitness team as well behind us, it's going to be really fascinating to see what kind of shape we're going to be in come the turn of the year, because I think that's, for the last 4 or 5 years, that's always been a problem, hasn't it? Even though we've done what we've done, it's always been a problem. But talking on fitness and everything else, Neil, we have signed someone else, or on the verge of signing someone else, Ezri Konsa, from Aston Villa. It's been a bit of a back and forth with them. What's your thoughts in it? I know you play for Villa and everything, but we'll bring up the squad in a minute, just in terms of the way it's kind of looking at the moment, and we'll look at if there's anywhere that you feel that there's a few worries, I say, or there's a bit of a gap. But is that just basically the sensible thing to do, to get someone who's in the Premier League, who's experienced, and who's going to be like a plug and play player, like Bruno Guimaraes. Are you happy with that once we get that over the line?
100% I am. I know people are saying, why are we looking to strengthen the defence when we really need to put the player up front? I mean, for me, before all of this started, I don't get involved with all of the transfer stuff, but I always try and give people an understanding where I think we need a signing. And my 5 were a backup keeper for Raya, because that worries me, and it still does. I'm going to have to say, I'm still worried about the goalkeeping position. Raya, by the way, was also outstanding as usual. He didn't feature in the World Cup, and look where what he done. I know it's only the Community Shield, but it's still a football match against a team that really wanted to beat us, and he made some outstanding saves. So let's give him a quick mention. And I just want to say, before I say that, I just want to say how unbelievable, as good as Skelly's first touch was for the assist for the first goal, how good Odegaard's first touch and dummy was to score his goal. I was laughing my head off at that, because he made that goalkeeper look so stupid. I love it. I loved it so much.
Stand him down.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Just genius, though. Just genius. It really was. So, Odegaard, just keep doing. If you do that every game, and Saka, if you find your form, I can't see anyone stopping us, even with what we've got. Honestly, I mean it. If he can unlock with the 2 signings we have made so far, oh my God, I just think we're going to be wonderful. So anyway, going back to that, I think this. The 5 were the backup hobby, and of course an attacker, the left wing, a midfielder, because I was worried about Rice. Rice has played so much. And I thought, if he is struggling with fitness, like Zubamendi was at the end of last season, or the tail end of last season, where are we going to go? We don't really have a Rice replacement. Now, I know if they're both fit, I think they're going to feature both at the same time. But if say one is not available or needs to be rested, because we're going to have to rotate with the 4 competitions, I think it's a tremendous addition and a need, and it's been fulfilled. The left wing has been fulfilled with Lolly. The attacker, I still think maybe we should get someone in. But the other one, the important one for me, was the right back, because I wasn't sure at the time whether White was going to stay or go. We know Timber, when he's at his best, I don't think there's anyone better than Timber in that position. But if he's not around, or he needs to be rested, where do we go if White's not there, or White's not quite? And by the way, I love Benny Blanco. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore him. I actually don't want him to leave the club. But I just thought, in terms of levels, we have to be really ambitious. We have to up the levels in every part of the pitch. And I think if we're getting someone like Ponzo, who's not only experienced in the Prem, but he's a useful player. Like you told me before, he can also play centre back if needed, and right back. So we've got a versatile defender there in case he needs to make up numbers. If there's any eventualities, touch where there won't be any injuries, but you never know. We know that Saliba's out at the moment. Now, Michael, you were saying before we started recording, is that a statement in the sense that is Saliba going to be out for longer than we may have been told? Now, that is a worry. I'm not saying it isn't, but I still feel Saliba is going to be. I know there may be a chance that he'll leave at some point, but I think the way he has behaved, he absolutely adores this club. Now that he's got that winner's medal as well now, I think he wants to stay and have more success with the club. So, with the injury withstanding, we don't know. We can't negotiate for how long that's going to be. But I think he will be back and he'll be part of this team. But to have another player, and we've got Mosquito, don't forget. And I think he's a great player as well. I think sometimes he makes the odd error here and there, but who doesn't? And I feel that now. I think we had the best defense last year. Well, the fact that the stats proved it, but I think we've enforced it now, and we've got Hincapié now on a permanent as well. Don't forget. I think this defense is unbelievable. If we get Conser over the line, there's so much we can do with it. There's so much kind of mixing and matching we can do. We can really change it. We can have it make it consistent for one competition, have other players in another competition. We're going to play another 60+ games if we go far in the competitions. So we need all of them. So I am really pleased with that signing. I mean, it hasn't gone through yet, but if it's inevitable, as you guys are saying, I am so chuffed to bits with that position. So for me, if we do get an attacker, fine. If we don't, as I said earlier, if Saka finds his form and Odegaard does what he does and what he's shown us, as Matt correctly alluded to, he showed it in the West Ham game, he showed it in the World Cup. If this is the state, if this is how it's going to be, if this is what we're going to see from Odegaard for the rest of the season, Saka finds his form and then all the other players are doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not, we might not need that other attacker. We might not. I'd love to have him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, but I'm just saying if we don't, I don't think it's the biggest loss in the world now. Whereas before I might have thought that. See, I think it might unlock Bruno, Guinness, I call him, might unlock Gyökeres. It might unlock Kai. I look, I'm just excited. I just can't wait. Honestly.
Yeah, the opportunities and the options that Arteta's got is pretty insane. I think he's looked at what happened last season with PSG, and we all saw the numbers, the amount of games and minutes that these guys played, compared to Arsenal's, and was ridiculous. So as you said, if we can keep these players fit, Neil, and we're going into that business end of the season, and the minutes are gradually, drastically reduced, when we're at the business end of the season, then that's going to make a massive difference, isn't it, Mac? Obviously, when you take into account someone like Konsa coming in, who is Premier League proven, 100%. Has looking at all the stuff online with him and Eze, the bromance that they've got. He's Saka's best mate. He's joining this England core that we've got now. Another English player, and they talk about him being the hardest guy to get past. In terms of defending, they hate. They said that he's probably him and Mark Gahey are probably the hardest guys to get past in the Premier League. And it's almost got a feel of, he's not at that level, but it's almost of a feel that we've taken a really a top defender from a small team, a bit like when Sol Campbell came over, because all we used to say the same thing about him. He used to hate playing against this guy, and he was so happy that he's part of the team now. And so what's your thoughts on Konsa and what he'll bring to the squad and everything, and his versatility and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, I think Konsa's an amazing excellent signing. And, obviously, as we've talked about offline, as the champions, we've got that pull. And it's as simple as that. So that's the first thing we've got over the line. If anyone in the Premier League, we're the champions. Of course, you want to join the champions. But it's always been about the price. And I think the biggest problem we've had offline as well is how long these things have taken. Now, obviously, we're happy when they're over the line, but it's taken so long. Season starts on Friday, and this guy, fair enough, he's having his medical tomorrow. He's not going to play on Friday. We don't need him on Friday, to be fair. But obviously, he'd have to be signed up by midday. That's not going to happen. He may have been doing his training, whatever else, and pre-season stuff. Obviously, the Super Cup stuff as well for Villa. But I think the main thing for us as supporters is just the drudge and the amount it takes. Now, fair enough. I have to give Berta his dues that he's getting it for prices which people are shocked by. 51 million. Remember what Villa said at the start? They said, we're not going to sit down with you guys until it's 60 million minimum. 51. And it's the same with all of the, obviously Solis wasn't too bad because obviously he's an unknown. But Gomeres as well, we got him well under what they were prepared. They said, you have to pay us 100 million minimum. And then they just dropped it. And then obviously, I don't know what conversation, I don't know what kind of magic they spun, but they got the price as opposed to those other guys in North London, those randoms who paid 100 million for Fernandez and 100 and whatever for tonight. I mean, they're idiots. But anyway, let's not go there. Whilst we're getting it for proper prices, okay? So Konsa, amazing. So we know that obviously the model is 2 top-class players in each position, right? So we know that, let's be honest. Let's be really brutally honest. Timber is only going to be able to play 1 game a week. He can't play 2. He's too injured. He's injured all the time. And there's no way those fitness guys are going to look at him and say, right, we're going to build you up to playing 2 games a week. That's not going to happen. He's going to play 1 game a week. I don't know which game, but he's going to play 1 game a week. You keep on hearing from the team. Behind closed doors, they're talking about it. They want to win, obviously, the Premier League and the Champions League. We know that. But he's going to go for, because obviously we lost in the final, he's going to go for that Carabao Cup. The FA Cup is obviously by the by. But, he wants all of the trophies. That's as simple as that. And so to do that, as we saw, we need more than we've had before. So especially in those key areas. the Rice era because he fell to pieces. Zubimendi, fell to pieces. And obviously Havertz was injured, so he's back now, so that's fine. But we know Havertz is going to get injured again. So going back to Konsa anyway, Konsa 100% is brilliant because he's a hard man. And that's the difference, I think, between some of the guys. I know, obviously you've talked about Mascara, and he's a good young guy. But let's be honest, sometimes we've seen him panic when the pressure's on, especially the last few minutes. And obviously, unfortunately, we saw in the Champions League final. I'm not blaming him for what happened. Just saying that, young minds think differently to old hands. And a 28-year-old is going to act differently to a kid. So I just think he just brings that calmness. And he's a hard man. As you showed that stat about the ground duels. He wins duels. He fights fights. And he's not someone who's going to back down. And I think, like you said, Saliba, they've talked and talked and talked. I don't think Saliba's back this year. Not this calendar year, that is. They'll come back next year, but they'll take their time with him because he's obviously Rolls Royce. And with Konsa, you're not under pressure, are you now, to bring him back? You're not rushing to bring him back because you've got a guy who's proven that he's absolutely top class. So Konsa coming in is brilliant. Obviously, Blanco gets injured as well.
Yeah.
He gets Blanco. He's staying, it looks like now. Blanco gets it. He looks stronger now. He looks much better. Obviously played amazingly on the weekend, but on Sunday. But I do think Blanco will probably get injured. So he'll be in and out of the team quite regularly. And obviously, like I said, all the competitions we're in, he's going to be playing regular. So Konsa's an amazing signing. I'm to be honest, I'm surprised that we got him so cheap, and at the point that he wants to come, he really wants to come. I get it with the champs, whatever, but he must know that he's more of a rotational player than a starter every single week. So that's going to be interesting for him. But I think to cover Timber, White, and Saliba, that kind of era, even obviously Big Gabby gets injured. It's on the left-hand side, bit tricky, but obviously we've got Hincapié and Mosquera and the rest of it. So I think Konsa's a brilliant signing. Yeah,
I mean, that's why I was kind of put this up, because obviously Konsa isn't in this at the moment, obviously. But if you imagine him being there, that kind of the defense is basically stopped then, isn't it? Because you're not, Miles is not being considered as a left back as such anymore, So it's obviously between Calafiori and Hincapié, who then obviously can deputise for Gabriel if he's out. But then obviously, Mosquera's played on that side as well. Marley Salmon played on the left and the right when he played against Como as well. Unbelievable talent. I'm not saying throw him in, but the fact that he can do that as well. Obviously, you got worries about Timber, like you said, with White as well. I don't know what's happening with Timber. I hope he's not a chronic problem for him. It seems like it might be with his groin injury. But when you look at that squad depth, for me, I'm still looking at, obviously, it goes without saying, that left-hand side. Jesus isn't on this. Waneri isn't on this, obviously, as well. Either as well. It's the left-hand side for me. If Martinelli does go, he seems like he doesn't want to go, or the way that the club are doing it. There's some rumours that the way that the club are trying to get rid of him, some people are not happy with the way that's going, with everything that he's done in the past. But there's two sides to every story. There's rumours about Gyökeres's people approaching Barcelona. I've heard about saying that he's interested in going to them, if an opportunity arises. And obviously there was that chat about Osimhen, but it doesn't seem like that's going anywhere. So the squad depth is there. It looks great, obviously, but not everyone's going to be fit, as we know. But if they are fit, I mean, you are talking, serious damage in terms of the silverware, in terms of what we're capable of getting. You think how close we came to getting a treble of sorts, a penalty kick away from getting a treble, and from getting the Champions League, and obviously a goalkeeping mistake that cost us the League Cup possibly, as well. So we came that close to it. When you think that we still can improve, and I think we will improve. Can you see?
We need to improve up front, though, mate.
Sorry, what was that?
I think I'm sorry. Sorry for interjecting, but I think our weakest area is up front.
Yeah.
We haven't got a 20 goal scorer. We haven't got a goal machine. We haven't got a ruthless Ian Wrighty type of player. We've got Havertz plays well, and obviously Gyökeres plays well. But we haven't got someone we know 100% is going to score at least, like a Haaland. Obviously, Haaland's a one-off, but someone who's going to score 20 goals. We rely on everybody chipping in, don't we? And so, for example, Coventry, fine. Like you said, it should be a fairly straightforward game. But as soon as they lose the ball, they're going to be at least 9 to 10 behind the ball. And we'll break their lines. That's not a problem. But it'd be great to just have that person who we know 100% will score, fox in the box, who just knows where to hit it without even thinking. Obviously the king, whatever as well. But I think that's our biggest area where we could have a problem, because Gyökeres has been injured through the last season, and so was Havertz, obviously. Obviously, we've stopped Mourinho up front, and he's been amazing as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
amazing. So I think that's probably, but all of them, they're not really going to score a massive amount of goals. All brilliant, amazing, because he's like a Giroud, isn't he, Mourinho? But yeah, it's a 20-goal scorer. But obviously, we're not getting Alvarez. We've been told that. Everyone's been told that now.
You sure?
So I think that's our biggest weakness. But the rest, I think, would be fine.
Mac, I hear you. I do agree with that. I mean, I think we that's the thing we've been missing, really missing. And I think we would have made the how can you say, the process of last season a little bit more easier if we had that person banging the goals in. Yeah. However, I just feel, and I'm not saying I'd love to have an out-and-out striker as you described. Honestly, I really would. But just with these additions that we've made, with Lolly and Guinness especially, but with Skelly, if he's going to carry on playing like this, if Odegaard's going to hit top form, won't they be the components to help unlock maybe a little bit something extra in Havertz, or something a little bit extra in Gyökeres that could give us the extra 4 or 5 goals in each of them? I don't know. I'm not saying that is the case. I do agree that they're not out-and-out scorers. They're not. I totally get that. But the service, if it just improves even by 10%, might yield another 2 or 3 extra goals that we didn't see from them last season. So that's the way I look at it. That's just in case we don't get another attacker in. All I was saying earlier, that I just don't think it's the end of the world if we don't. I don't think it's like, it's the be-all and end-all. If we don't get it, that's it. We're not winning nothing. What I feel is it will definitely help us a lot, and it will enhance us. And the only thing that I didn't negotiate for, and you hit the nail on the head, is both of them have been injured, and that is a worry. And if one or both get injured, then we're very, very weak. 100% very, very weak. Who fills in then? That's the worry. So, ideally we get that player in 100%. But let's see.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think apart on that, and I agree with you on all of that. And I think just to come into, apart from the end of kind of Pep's reign, he's always been a person who's wanted everybody to contribute. And obviously, we know Arteta's his little disciple. So I think he wants everybody to contribute. He wants everybody scoring. He wasn't kicking off about Calafiori doing that run. It's just it would be nice to have that kind of person who we know we can rely on to score goals, because I think the set play thing kind of got a bit old, didn't it? By the end of the season, it got a bit old, and we weren't even very productive in that anymore anyway. Now we will be in certain games, but everybody's ready now.
But you've got the change as well, haven't you, in the corner thing now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. And
so that might affect it.
Yeah, and obviously there's the things coming with all the time waste. So I think it's going to be a very different season. But I do think that, like you said, with the service from Solis, I'm not sure. Well, we know about Noni, and if Saka's fit, the service will be better. But like I said, there's not one person that well, maybe 1 or 2, but majority of the team can score, and that's the main thing, isn't it? Right? And if they're there in the right position, then they should score. So I agree. It's I'm very confident about what we can do this season, even if the window's shut now. I think we're in a very, very good position. Very good position, well placed, much better than any of the other teams around us. To do amazing stuff. I mean, I see what's happened with Liverpool today again with Curtis Jones and all this stuff. We're in a very, very, very strong position. to really just dominate and build, as everyone keeps talking about, all the pundits, we're going to build a dynasty. But, we have to do it on the pitch. So that's it.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think, especially with yourself, Neil, the fact that if these players, you look at our attack, we won the league because of our defense last season. Let's get it right, because the defense was so solid. David Raya doing madness, the whole defensive unit. Our attack was on par with a mid-table team attack in terms of numbers and stuff. It was really poor. A lot of people dropped off. A lot of people were injured, which we have to mention. Just like the likes of Havertz, obviously Odegaard, Saka wasn't the same guy. He was out again as well. Noni started well first couple of months of the season, and then he just regressed massively. And obviously we know about Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard obviously came in clutch at the end, but up until that point, numbers weren't there. I think the goal against West Ham was the first goal he scored in ages. In
the year, I think that was the first goal of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
yeah, it was.
If that attack does improve by 10, 15, 20%, on top of maybe a defense that might not hit the numbers, because obviously the world class, Saliba isn't there, but you've got someone else in who can maybe do the job, and then obviously you're still going to be without Timber. If that attack does improve a little bit more, then we should be able to get, through games a bit easier and not have him on the knife edge like we did last season. And again, I think you're going to need Odegaard operating at the way he did on Sunday. And I think, again, I've said it again, it's Bruno. I think Bruno's going to be massive. People, I don't think too many people kind of see what he's going to do in those situations when we play those low blocks, and him be able to get us out of there. I think, might be some smoke about this guy as well. Maybe we can rescue him because it looks like he's a hostage at the moment. You can look at that. The guy's. I think he's got. If he closes his eyes, he's got HE and then LP on his eyelids. If he closes his eyes, because I think he wants to get out of there. I know he wants Barcelona, but come here for 2 years, kick some ball at the carpet, land us the Champions League, and then you can go. Then you can go and do whatever you want to do. Just come over here for 2 years and deliver big ears, and then we can just say, you can just go to Barcelona for 150 million or something like that and stuff. But yeah, this guy wants to go, man. Look at his face. Geez, that's serious, man. That is serious. That's like someone signing for Tottenham or something. You know what I mean? It's like that's sort of levels.
Did you hear what their boss said as well? I saw something today about Atletico's. I don't know what they call him, CEO, whatever. He said, look, what he said wasn't right. He needs to apologize to the supporters. They might forgive him. Oh my God, the pressure he's under there. When he's clearly told you he wants to leave, and you're just telling him he has to go and beg for mercy from the supporters. What do you think this guy is? It's a footballer. It's business. He wants to get out. Get him out of there. But Atletico Madrid, obviously, a bit like
they just don't want to sell to
they're just like they're hard operators to deal with. So it would be nice in theory, but I can't see it. I can't see it. I just think it's just it's going to be very, very difficult to get a person away who they've offered all the money in the world, Barcelona, and they still said no. And then obviously that mocking post they did. So that's why I think I kind of walked away from it.
I think they would sell him to us. I think Atletico would sell him to us for surprise, and it might make you think I'm crazy, but I think they would sell him to us for a lesser fee than what Barcelona that Barcelona have offered. I think Barcelona was offered 100 and something for him, but I think they would sell him to us for a lesser fee. But it's whether he wants to go, and him going on strike and all that stuff. It's whether he wants to come to us, because I think he does. He has spoken to Gabriel Heinze a lot of times. He's spoken to Arteta, I believe, as well on the DL. So they know that he is enticed by the project and the possibility of playing for Arsenal, but his dream is to play for Barcelona. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want him because Arsenal aren't his first choice," and stuff like that. And so there's that as well. You can understand. And people say, "Oh, if he comes to Arsenal and he doesn't have a good first season, he's going to start wanting to get out of there." But then if he has a bad season, would Barcelona want him, sort of thing? Would that happen? So he would have to come there and ball out for Barcelona to say, okay, yeah, we will have. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
Him coming here could work out, especially if he delivers. And on his day, the guy's a quality player. He can do things in that final third, man. That could just unlock a few doors. So it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks before the window closes. Obviously, we think something's going to happen tomorrow, aren't we? With the announcement, maybe get Konza out again before the commentary game. Do what they did with Bruno, maybe get him out. Way to the fans. And in his first game, he's back at Villa Park, which is going to be funny.
Brilliant.
And but yeah, before we finish, guys, let's just talk about looking ahead to maybe having some predictions in terms of what you think will happen. Neil, is it firstly a question? I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we've got to really try and win the Champions League this season." But what's important for you, or what do you think is more important? Is it going back to back, defending the title, or winning the Champions League, or do you think like the Champions League can maybe, let's see what we do, but then we go for it really next year because it's a cup competition, okay? So, you could always have a bad day and everything. You can have a bad day in the league, but then you've got another 37 days to get that back. If you have a bad day in a cup competition, you're pretty much out of it. So what's your thoughts? So, are you all in on making sure we go back to back because we've not done it in the modern era? Or are you thinking, no, let's go for everything else and see what we can get? Or what's your predictions for the season?
I'll do the first part of the question. That's one of the easiest ones you've ever asked me. For me, it's back-to-back titles because we haven't done it since 1935. It's almost 100 years. It's so important. I know people think you're mad. We've never won the European Cup. So that's the Champions League and the European Cup in its old guys. I know we've never won it, but I like you just said, it's one of those competitions. As a cup competition, you can just have that one bad day and that's it, game over. For me, the league is a testament or a test of your how you are over a whole season. Is that about that consistency and that levels of resilience and that tenacity and the willpower and the state of your mind to be able to do it over a whole season. And a lot of people poo-poo the way we won it. But I think it's one of the. I personally feel, and not in terms of goals and stuff, but I think that's one of the best league prems that I can remember. And I'm not being biased because I know that Man City played some amazing stuff when they won it. I know that, but I just feel that was a hard league last season, and we done it. We got over the line, and it's. I think we can say it was one of the first ones, all the first ones that Man City have actually lost as a head-to-head because. The other ones where Liverpool won, were just way away anyway. So I think that was so good, but we need to retain it. I think we will get a little bit more respect. I'm not that I care about what the idiots say that are non-Arsenal supporters. I'm talking about media, fans, opposition, or ex-players. I don't really care. But it will be another kind of nail in their own coffins that, look, we've actually gone ahead and retained it as well now. So we mean business. As for the Champions League, of course I want to win it. I don't. So I'm not saying that we don't. I don't. But for me, Prem is the most important. However, if you look at the Champions League pattern, very much like the Prem, second, and then won it. And this one, quarter-final, semi-final, final. I just feel we're going to just get that last piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Predictions, I think we're going to win the double, as in the Prem and the Champions League. Mm-hmm. I'm a massive fan of the FA Cup. I adore the FA Cup. I want us to get number 15, move away from Man United by another competition, another success because they're only one behind us now. Yeah. But for me, it's the Champions League and the Prem, and I want a good run in the FA Cup. I'm not saying we will win that as well, but I just feel like I want a good run in the FA Cup. I don't want to go out early. And if we can win the League Cup as well, why not? But for me, it's the Champions League, the Premiership, Champions League second, FA Cup third. That is the order. Yeah. And even if we don't win the Champions League this season, we'll win it 4 times in a row, successful after that, because we're going to do the quad over and over again anyway. So you know me. Come on. All I want, guys, is to see consistent performances like what we saw on the week. That's all I want. End of the day, it's about how we perform. It's always been about that. I've even gone. I don't even mind. I'm sure you guys are the same because you're sensible football fans. If we lose a game but we've played out of our skin and still lost, there's nothing we can do. We can just have to hold up our hands and say, look, they beat us. They're the better team. We did everything we could. What I don't want is to see games where we go out on a whimper.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want. I want us to fight for every single game. And Matt, you said it. We've got now those kind of players in. Konza, Guinness. They are fighters. If we have those two players that have additions, that have that mindset to fight, then I don't think we're going to lose these games that we're just our heads are going to drop and we're going to go up in a whimper. So if we have good performances week in and week out, that is the first and foremost and priority. From there, we win the Prem. From there, we go and go one better in the Champions League. Come on, Arsenal.
Yeah, well said, Neil. Well said. How do you follow that, Matt? What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I'm surprisingly very much in line with Neil on all these things. So I think first of all, the good thing now is that Martin Odegaard as captain is enjoying his football, and I think that makes a huge difference. And that, as a person who leads by his example rather than his words, I think that's a massive lift for the team. I think also as well, obviously it's amazing business for us, but to take the captain of Newcastle to bring that medal, I mean, it's great stuff, isn't it? We took the captain of West Ham, then we got the captain of Newcastle. But I think it just frees up Odegaard to just do his thing. And Bruno is a leader, and you talked about it, and I'm kind of you alluded to it. Just his presence, as another captain. So we've got Declan Rice, we talked about him a lot being the captain, but Bruno G there as the captain. Over and over again, I see stuff about him, how first thing he said to the team was, look, I'm sorry the way I was, but I hate losing. I hate losing. So, but now we're all friends, we're going to go for it. And you can tell that he's not going to muck about. He's going to want to win, and he's going to push this lot, especially in those moments, to do well. And you see some of the goals he scored, some crucial goals for Newcastle. In those, as you said, clutch moments. He comes up because he just appeared like Calafiori did and just gets that goal. He's obviously got exceptional skills. So I think that's going to make a huge difference for us. Just with that, just like I said, Bruno G being there, Solis obviously providing the service, but just that another captain's voice and just releasing Odegaard of all that kind of pressure in his head, just to play his football and play like he's been playing, which has been amazing, obviously, at the start of the season. So just going back to what Neil said, I agree. We need to win back-to-back. I mean, we've got a lot of monkeys on our back, but let's get this back-to-back done. And it's never been a better season to do it, as has been alluded to. Obviously, all these teams, Liverpool, Man City, the ones that are kind of around us. Obviously, United have got Liverpool and City obviously got new managers. Obviously, United have got a newish manager, but they got Champions League. We need to do it, and we need to do it with a big margin. Big one. What I want to see, I'll tell you what the ideal situation is. We need to win I'll be ahead by a big margin, which they can't close, so we can focus on the other stuff. That's what we need to do. We need to do what, obviously, we're not going to do a PSG and just win it. But I think this year we need to just do it like Liverpool did the year before, where they were so far ahead, they could focus on anything else. Win it like with 4 or 5 games to go. That's what we need. And we just bang, 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 just beat everybody and blow people out of the water so that we can focus on other things. Because I think for us, because we had that pressure, because we had to wait nearly to the end of the season, because we were winning 1-0, because we were playing so many games with pressure all the way to the very last minute, we were exhausted. And obviously we saw that in the Champions League final. But prime Arsenal against prime PSG will prime Arsenal win all the time. I'm 100% believe that. I mean, even look at Villa against them in the Super Cup. They were struggling for a big that young kid scored, for Villa. And obviously they got 2-1 in the end. But, I mean, I think prime Arsenal would beat them. So I think we've got to do the back-to-back because, as you said, you haven't done for nearly 100 years. All the teams around us have done it. In the Premier League time. So we just need to just do it. Obviously, Liverpool haven't done it, but, we need to make sure that we just get that one done and dusted, and there's never a better time. So that'd be good. I think Champions League as well, as has been said, I think we should win the Champions League. FA Cup, like I said, go on a good run. Carabao Cup. But personally, nice Carabao Cup, but I don't think we should put as much emphasis. I think Can we play that guy from Leeds though, Messler, instead of Kepa? I'm sick of seeing Kepa playing. The guy makes too many mistakes.
Yeah. I agree. I was kind of surprised he didn't start any of the preseason games. He came on as subbing all of them.
He's
and I just
rubbish. So just get him out of my club. He wants to leave, so let him go. So yeah, for me, well, I think as well. Arteta's clear in his mind as well. Premier League and Champions League as well. I think. I do think, if you're asking for my prediction, I think we'll win the Premier League by a large margin. I don't know about 20 points, but it'll be more than the 7-8 points we did before. I think it'll be quite large. I think we probably, it depends who's in the Champions League final, but I think we should win it. So Premier League, Champions League, and I'm hoping that we're still in a decent position for the FA Cup. Because if we're in the FA Cup still, at the end, semi-final, final, I think we'll win that. I don't think there's any team this season that'll beat us in the FA Cup. I'm not bothered about the Carabao Cup. I'm really not. It's nice. It's but
we have Premier League. It's not our cup, man. It's not really our cup. We've won it twice in our history. It's not really our cup. The FA Cup is. The
FA Cup is our cup.
We want to bring that to 15. Come on.
Yes, let's do it. So, that's my prediction. Premier League, Champions League, and hopefully the FA Cup. I'm not even talking about the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, a treble would be lovely. It puts us on that sort of pedestal with the other two teams if we manage to do that. Brenny, thanks for your chat, mate. Saying we played good football last Sunday. That's what I want to see. You guys going for top and going for top players. Odegaard needs to be consistent. We'll get excited. Again, when he has two solid months of performances, it's just hope he doesn't get injured or anything again like he did last season. He just had a nice run of games. And we still need that left winger, as well. We need that to be addressed. It's been too long now, hasn't it? And I know we've kind of got Solace in, and he looks like he's going in the right direction. Early days still, but I think Martinelli is gonna. It's crunch time for him, isn't it? The club are actively trying to move him on. He's not happy with that. He doesn't want to go to certain places. If he ends up staying, and he does get his opportunity, then what does he do? Does he knuckle down and try and play his way to a move? And obviously, if he sulks and sits down, and which I don't think he will do because he's not that type of character. I think it might benefit us in the end, in the long run, maybe. Again, I think with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, he will be able to pick him out. He does it for Brazil when they play with Brazil, and so it'd be interesting. Summer. I agree with yourselves. I think winning it back to back would be is it for me. The Champions League, you look at it in a different way. Two world clubs and Pep Guardiola and Luis Enrique, two of the greatest managers in our generation, has stopped us or Arteta from winning 3 Premier League titles and 2 Champions Leagues effectively. Yeah. If you look at it like that, he's come up against 2 of the greatest. And, and you look at some of the teams that have won Champions League in the past and look at who they've played in finals and how they've rolled over some teams. And there's some team managed to get through to the final for some reason, and they just get, dealt with in the, we've played PSG.
Chelsea.
Well, yeah. Well, and we played PSG, in a semi-final and then the final to the best team in Europe, so it would obviously love us to win that. That's I want to see that before my time's up. I just want to see us win that trophy. I'm sure we all do. But for me, if you had one choice, obviously it would be the Premier League. So I think the Premier League and then hopefully the Champions League. And I'm can't wait for the draw to see who we get in those 8 games, because we haven't lost. How many teams have not lost in a campaign and still not won the competition? So there's another thing for us as well, which is a thing as well. So it's going to be interesting. But I would say the Champions League will be second, and obviously, for me, first and foremost, if you said you can win one thing, I think just for the club and for the players, it would be to go back to back in the Premier League, because that would just put a nice line through a lot of the narratives and everything and shut so many people up. But it also would give the players and the club a different sort of standing to be at, because Wenger's teams couldn't do that. George Graham's teams didn't do that when they won the league in the way they did it. They didn't defend the title. So I think I can't remember. There was stat today. I think only 3 or 4 managers have won the league, the league back to back, Premier League back to back. I think obviously Guardiola, Ferguson. I can't remember who the other one is. But yeah, so there's not many that have done it. So you'll be entering a little select company if he manages to do that. And Brendan's just saying, I think we can beat PSG by taking the game to them, not sitting back and letting them have the ball. But I think part of that again was looking at that final. We were just gassed, weren't we? And we just wanted to play into our strengths, which was defending, and it didn't. It didn't work. Yeah. But no, thank you so much for your time, gents. It was a great chat. First one of the season in the books. We'll be back next week after the commentary game, obviously because it's Fridays, isn't it? It's on Fridays, and it's early. We got our weekend free, so let's hope our Arsenal set things off right. Welcome another new player to the Arsenal family. Ezri Konsa coming back to London. Londoner, isn't he? He was born in Newham. Back to London. I think he's an Arsenal fan as well. There's stuff coming out of him with an Arsenal kit as well. So hopefully he'll run through brick walls for us, which is always a good thing. And before we go, let's do the old favourite, shall we? Just an old Neil. Why don't we do it? It is the first show of the season, and let's just run it.
Do you know Tottenham? What? Tottenham Hotspur?
Topspur?
No.
What's that?
you never heard of them?
No.
It's the laughing
I love it.
Oh my god!
I can't wait to play them. Honestly, with all their new shiny toys. I bet they're still the same old story.
Well, it made me call me earlier when you said randoms. Those randoms are ours.
They are randoms, though, aren't they? Look at them wasting money on nonsense. Let them do it. We'll put them back. We'll show them what a real team does when we play them anyway. I can't wait.
Funny. Oh, you
can't wait.
No matter how Wesley's playing, he plays that game. You know he's going to get a hat trick again. So let's just do that.
No worries. Thank you so much, gents, for your time. Really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with another review and preview, and hopefully, like I said, get off the campaign to a good start. A good solid win. Finish the Friday night top of the league as we started it anyway, and we'll go from there. Thanks, Mac, Neil.
Pleasure.
Have a great rest of the week. Thanks for everyone watching, all the comments. Really appreciate it. We're going to try and put out some more stuff this season as well. But thank you, everyone, for watching. And remember, gold on the sleeves. Make sure you've got the gold patch on the sleeve. That's what it's all about. That's the fashion accessory you've got to have this year. Make sure you got that. All the best. Take care. Come on, you Reds.